All right, Karato. What happened
Oh,
last session?
gods, why is it always me?
The dice love you.
Yeah, clearly, except for when I'm rolling them. Last session, if I remember correctly, we fought giant acid babies. Is that right so far?
Sure.
I remember the right session. Okay, yeah, we fought giant acid baby or giant acid baby singular. And we did a pretty good job of it. We actually saved the Iridians from certain death, and then had a conversation with a nice Iridian captain who was responsible for the response squad, who was like, "Hey, we wanna thank you," and we are like, don't like the sound of that." So then after some conversations, we continued on to the city we're heading to. It's big sus. Continued on to the city we're heading to, and there was an inn, and we decided to stay in the inn, and we spent, I think it was like a couple of days, doing things. Or was it the day we got there?
Uh,
Can't
you've
remember.
you've bought supplies.
That was it. Yeah, we did some essential things like buying supplies, hoping to maybe go on to the harsh lands of not savage lands. I can't remember the official name for it. But yes, and then we ended on the cliffhanger of the person who we are meant to be talking to, regards to our heroic activities of fighting acid pea babies, being the person who did bad things to Navali's family.
Is there anything else you would like to add before I start?
Ah,
Anything that isn't just wild screaming?
doesn't seem that way.
Okay. Karato, Reverence, both of you went with Navali down towards the actual main room after discussing what you're planning to do, which is lie and, well, semi tell the truth and say that you're going to need to make a new appointment and you can't actually meet, and then intend to flee before you actually would come to the appointment time. As you go through the inn, I'm going to paint you a little bit of a picture of the place itself is fairly big. It is definitely designed to be able to house a great deal of people simultaneously. Even if you all have to share rooms, it's because they are designed not to have single rooms. They're designed to essentially go, oh, you're traveling through, here's a room that can easily fit 8 people without any issues.
So kind of like a hostel.
Exactly like a hostel.
Fair enough.
So as you get into the main room, uh, there's not really a table set up for food. Food has been delivered to your rooms repeatedly. You see kitchen. There's a kitchen in the back. Both of you immediately, well, no, I'm sorry, Reverence, you weren't there. Karuto, you immediately do recognize the man who talked to you before, uh, going up and talking to the person in charge. They are having some conversation, and behind him, you see 3 people who are definitely with him and better dressed. One of them is shorter, seems to have black hair with a little bit of white sticking out that, to your keen eyes, you can tell it's not due to age, it's simply because he decided to magically make it look that way. It's probably vanity. A very large man who seems less human than you'd expect from everyone here. His body seems to be emanating heat and keeping very quiet. His eyes also, when you glance at them, don't have white in them. They're black and yellow. But he doesn't seem to be a tiefling. You've seen those before as well. He's something else entirely, but you're not quite sure what. And then a broad, older gentleman with white and red hair, wearing what appears to be very heavy armor and a very large sword on his back. Navali, you recognize that man. You could not. Every time you go to bed, you have sometimes just images pop into your mind of that fateful day. What would you like to do, Navali?
So, for Rev and Karito's sake, I imagine that all three of them were walking quite confidently to speak, given that they know what they're going to say. And then as soon as Navali sees this man, she instantly stops. And Skern, I'm curious to see if Navali can tell that they have already been noticed.
Insight. I'll also allow an insight from Karuto and Reverence if you want to figure that out.
Mhm.
Karuto, you want to try and figure this out? Navali, as you might imagine, your head's a little bit elsewhere and it's difficult to tell immediately, while your awareness gets heightened as you can feel your own heart beating. It's also the type that everything gets a little fuzzy and it's difficult to tell direct expressions. Rev, I don't think you care. Let's be honest.
There's a lot going on right now.
Karuto, you do notice that at the very least, the man with white and red hair has looked over in your direction and seems interested in your group. The man who you originally talked to has not noticed you, but the group has.
What's Navali doing?
She is just standing there, and I rolled a pretty good wisdom save on being calm, so I'm not sure if.
To be clear, that wisdom save is to make sure that you're able to do whatever you would like to do. It does
Yes,
not
and
necessarily mean you're calm.
okay. She's just standing there, Rev and Karuto.
I think Rev would backtrack a little bit and just walk up to her, keep his voice low, and be like, "What's wrong?"
That's him.
Him?
Him.
Oh, oh.
And at this point, I like to imagine Navali's hands are shaking. He's right there.
One second. Let me just do a quick.
I will also point out that Navali is doing her best to be in a whisper.
Nope.
You know, I think I heard the lady fussing as we were heading out. Would you like to go back and check on her?
Yes. Yes,
You know, it's
please.
very good. Karito and I will take care of this.
Um, and Navali's gonna get out.
Uh, Karuto, as you see Navali head back, you can clearly see that the one who noticed you is clearly watching her leave and keeping his eye directly on where she went.
hmm That's concerning, but oh well. Karito sort of turns to Rev, nods, and then continues walking up to the party.
Rev will continue with them.
Okay. Uh, you walk straight up. There is an almost tap at the man that you talked to before, and he immediately turns to with a big smile of, you are here. That's excellent. Is he seems to be looking at Reverence up and down as if trying to figure out exactly who he is.
Rev is looking down and purposely not making eye contact.
Uh, it is very nice to see you again, as he turns to Karuto. Is everyone else in your group here?
Ah, they are, but I am sent to speak in their stead. It seems that perhaps some of our rations were bad, or I am uncertain. Maybe we're not used to the climate. But the Lady Permelia has taken sick, and we must beg a different audience, perhaps at a later time at her parents' estate.
Please roll me deception. You can clearly tell that it's not that your lie is bad. It's more that there is something off about why you would be doing this, especially with one person who clearly saw something that caught his attention. So these words do not make sense to at least one of them for certain.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you continue to have this kind of stare off, he thinks for a moment. That's not great. So, as he's like trying to come up with exactly where to go from here, the older man, I'll make this clear. I intended to reward you for your services. At the very least, could we show you what your reward could be?
As long as you are okay with me standing in her Lady Permelia's stead. Of course, I am only a guest in these lands. However, I have her confidence and her trust.
What is your name?
Harry Tohoru.
I have not heard of that surname before. Could you tell me where you are from?
A land very, very far away. It is known as the Vale to my people, but it is not accommodating to outsiders. In fact, I feel I may be one of the few people who have ever left.
Interesting. It is nice to meet you, Karito. And he clearly is staring at Reverence.
My apologies, this is one of our many attendants.
That is not a name, but it is nice to meet you as well, attendant.
He will silently, very quickly nod.
Karito,
Mm-hmm.
could you roll me a perception?
Absolutely.
It is ever so incredibly brief, but for just a split second, you see as he's looking at Reverence, his eye glances off towards something towards the corner, and you immediately check, and that's where your bird is. The ethereal one that should not be seeable.
Mm-hmm.
But he clearly doesn't give a reaction to this, just you can tell he clocked it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the fact that our mutual friend in Lady Permelia was a wielder would probably give him enough warning to be like, yeah, that's probably fairly common. Also, what we know as well. So no reaction from character as well.
Makes complete sense, but it's good that you know this for certain.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a room for us to show? These could be slightly dangerous if shown publicly.
Just thinking back, did we got two separate rooms?
You got two rooms.
Yeah. And yeah. Gonna just do a quick wisdom check. Yes. Please, one moment. And he turns to Rev and speaks, sort of quietly as if ordering a person. Go ahead and make sure one of the rooms are clean and empty, obviously. Not with the Lady Permelia inside.
He will quickly nod and depart to go do so.
We shall wait just a moment while they clear the room. Can I interest you gentlemen in a drink?
It's 8 in the morning.
He nods. When I mean drink, I mean drink. Would tea? Do they serve tea?
That is an unusual flavor. Uh, you can see him give a quick gesture and point things out. Immediately, the man who introduced himself to you much earlier and got all this together grabs a large red-headed man and starts getting a room for themselves, whereas the other one stays behind. We have some things that need to be done, but myself and Ro gives a gesture towards the other man. We'll wait until we can, at the very least, give you your proper reward. Additionally, I would love to have a conversation about several other things if you are not currently busy with Lady Permelia, you said?
As I said, she is indisposed, but I have time available, obviously, to receive you.
Very well. I would love to be received by you. Navali,
Yes.
you fled back to the room where everyone else is.
Yes.
Everyone else, you see Navali flee back into the room, looking very shaken.
Yo, what happened?
Navali, I like to imagine, enters the room in a panic state, and she is just kind of like standing there. We met some people down there. There was, well, I don't think Navali saw the guy that everybody spoke to.
Yes,
Correct.
Navali and Reverence both were not there. You intentionally left immediately.
Okay. Whoever was there to meet us, and Navali has a very, very hurt and twisted look on her face. She looks like even speaking about what she wants to say is going to make her, like, lose it a little.
Is Permelia in the room?
She would be in the room, yes.
I try to get her attention, like Permelia gesturing at Navali, like, do you want to... Maybe you should...
Do you need to... Should we go outside?
No, I don't want to leave right now. I don't want to go outside.
It's okay. What's... I'm sorry, I just never seen you like this. What happened?
Navali kind of like turns her head a little. And her hands are still shaking. He's there. Scarlet. He's down there. He's down there right now. I saw him. I couldn't.
Scarlet?
Scarlet.
Are you in
He
danger?
is down there.
Is he gonna hurt us?
I don't know. I had to get out as soon as possible. I wasn't... I left Rev and Karito down there. They said they could handle it, but Fuck, I can't believe I left them down there. I should have stayed.
Hey, Lirin.
I imagine so. Leo, as soon as he heard the name Scarlet, I'm rewinding 5 seconds, 10 seconds. He sort of like lifts his chin and then is pondering, and it looks like he's getting ready to cast a spell. But then you get him, and he says, "Should I?" Leo comes out of his like glancing at the sky and says, "Are we going out there, or
Yeah.
should I protect the room?"
How about you and me go check in with Rev and Karito, Celastra and Permelia stay with Navali? I looked to Celastra specifically to see if this is okay.
Celestra nods.
Is that okay, Navali?
Yes, I'm sorry. I want to be there. I want to check on them, but I can't right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Come here. And Permelia grabs your hand, kind of just pulls you deeper into the room as a comforting hug, and a also making sure that you're not trying to do anything else near that door.
Yeah, Navali follows without any resistance.
Do we bump into Rev?
Almost immediately.
Okay. Is everything Leo just sort of trails off and is sort of trying to gauge if Rev looks worried.
Rev looks like he has 100 things on his mind right now. But he will say, I need to get the other room ready. They want to show us a reward that they were going to offer us. I want to keep them separate from Permelia. I could take her out of here. I don't know. I have to get the room ready. I'm sorry, one moment.
I kind of imagine, like, as Rev walks away, Leo shares a glance with Six, kind of like the Rev looks frazzled look.
Yeah.
And says, "We can go out there, and it sounds like he's fine. We can go out there, or I can drop the dome and have a safe place to run to."
That sounds like a good idea. I'll go check on Karito.
All right. And I'll turn back around and go into Permelia's room.
Okay. So, I assume you start casting the dome.
I am, given the situation, I'm not ritual casting it. So it's only going to take 1 minute to get up.
Okay.
Not knowing the size of the room, the goal is to
probably cover the doorway, I assume.
Basically at the edge of the door, so that if the door pushes in, then the door wouldn't actually be able to push in.
Okay.
Or well, 5 feet back. We'll let
the door open.
Anybody open it. Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm not going to tell you the problem with that. What you just said, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else Navali, Celastra would like to do?
I imagine Navali's just probably sitting on the bed trying not to have a panic attack.
Leo, before he starts casting the spell, just says, he explains why he came back in. Just like, Rev caught us up. Karito's fine. I'm bringing the dome up just in case Six is going to check on things. And then Leo pulls out his wand and just starts tracing symbols in the air.
Celestra is kind of just watching the door, hoping that Perm can calm down Navali.
One note, just in case, I don't know if there's like carpets and stuff. Leo's looking for a spot with smooth ground, just in case. In case he needs to teleportation circle out or something.
So the floors are actually made out of wood, so there'd be no issues.
Okay.
6.
Hi.
You see Karito talking to 2 people. I've described them before. You do not recognize either of them.
Gotcha. Before I go in, I want to take a moment just to take a breath, be calm, remind myself this is for Navali, this is really serious, I can't fuck up here. Smooth out the clothes, etc., walk in, beeline for Karuto. Like I'm supposed to be here.
Karuto, you see a 6 coming at you and not reference.
Characters politely breaks up the conversation. Ah, Fiona, is the room ready?
It's being seen to right now. It should be ready in a few minutes.
He nods if this is all in order. Did I get Mr. Beardy Man's name? Although I would have assumed, hopefully, at some point in the conversation, he would have introduced himself.
Yes, we will go through and go. You know his name is Scarlet, and you know the person next to him name is Zero, just shortened to Row.
General Scarlet, allow me to introduce one of the bodyguards of our
Not
country.
a general, but thank you.
Sorry, Scarlet, even. This is Fiona. She is an excellent fighter.
I heard great things about how you took down one of those creatures, and I assume that you were a great help in this. Thank you for your service. It is always nice to see your kind being willing to bridge the gap between our nations.
She nods in reply and says, it was the Lady Permelia's wish that we lend our aid. I don't do anything halfway.
You roll me deception.
That's the truth, isn't it?
It is the truth, but the fact of the matter is that's not, like, you're very much showcasing something that is...
That's fair.
Wrong.
Visibly trying to put her best self forward.
There is definitely something that you can tell. Both of these people definitely are noticing that you're not acting like normal subjects. Something with your mannerisms. Something with just the way you're speaking in some way. You can tell that they can tell something is off, but they're not commenting on it. Well, thank you, Fiona. And would you like to join us for drinks while we wait? Apparently, Karuto is planning to make us tea.
I look to Karuto for confirmation.
Karuto smiles and nods.
Yes, thank you.
Behind his eyes, you can see just help.
She gets it. She gives that sort of nod that's like, yeah, that's what I'm here for.
We will pretend there is an awkward conversation of you constantly dodging questions for about a few minutes before Rev gets back. Rev, is there anything particular you're doing while you're gone?
Also panicking, but apart from that, I don't know. He's just trying to, in this moment, he's trying to figure out what is the best course of action. So he's just trying to keep things moving. He cleaned the room and he probably just headed right back.
A few minutes go by. Reverence, you now see 6 is there. You know why.
Karuto tries to drive the conversation into the more familiar feels, like, fighting those creatures, and if Scarlet has any experience.
I certainly do. You do not get more details.
Very awkward conversation then.
It's very much a constant. So how about, right, that kind of conversation?
Yeah.
It was you who slayed the first of the creatures that we came across along the path.
Roll insight. You can't quite tell his facial expressions. It's very clearly a man of much age who is used to guarding what he's thinking. And as he speaks, he looks at you. I do not know which path you speak of, but I have certainly fought them before.
She nods, but doesn't press.
Anyway, I assume Rev comes back.
Rev comes back with this awkward conversation.
And he will just kind of nod to Karuto.
Excellent. Wonderful. Scarlet, if you will follow me, please. And leads the way up to the rooms.
He gets up and gives a quick nod to the man behind him, who grabs a fairly hefty bag and follows right behind you. You head into this freshly cleaned, well-made room that many of you slept in just a few hours ago. He immediately finds a seat and pulls a table nearby so that the bag can be placed on the table. Thank you for being able to meet with us, even if your lady cannot currently. We noticed that you left in a hurry, meaning I do not believe you know how valuable those creatures' body parts are.
You are correct on that subject. We are quite ignorant.
Yet you are still willing to fight them without hesitation.
Character gives a sort of attempt at a genuine smile. Where I come from, I am tasked with protection. It is a habit that does not fade easily.
Those instincts are something that is certainly honorable. Perhaps this vale is a place that I would like to visit in the future. He clears his throat, and the other man just starts digging through the bag. Right. So, anyway, when we found out that we didn't kill it and that you killed it, we definitely should make stuff for you. We can't offer too much, but I'm just gonna put a couple of things out, and you guys can just kind of pick one. How's that sound? I'll tell you what each of them do, and there shouldn't be any issues, right? He's clearly looking at Scarlet, who's just nodding.
Character looks politely interested and waits.
He starts pulling out of the bag. He takes out first what appears to be some kind of cream that is put inside a very crudely created, almost bone container with cloth and leaves put off right next to it. This can apparently close your wounds. What I mean by apparently, I made it. It will close your wounds if rubbed directly against it. Extremely useful. He then takes out what looks to be a very gross-looking piece of leather that has been made into a definite outfit, and it will be a leather armor for certain, though it seems to have pus growing on it and almost blisters as if it was actual skin. So this is some very powerful enchantment that was made when we actually skin the creature. It's useful. Just give them the basics. Stop going one by one. Right. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly share a bunch of items for you. Do any of these seem useful to you?
Well, I would be stating an untruth if I said any of these were not useful. Are such things common in your country?
They came from the creature you killed when we butchered it, and Ro, he gives a gesture towards him, turned it into these items.
Character nods long.
There's also another thing that I know is in there. Are you not going? It's gross. Why would I give them all of the options? Fine. He takes out what looks to be a small potion.
Character just sort of smiles at this one.
Listen,
This one is.
I swear I didn't mean to make this. It's just when you mix this organ, it happens, and it's still magical.
I dread to think which organ was used. If it is acceptable to you, I feel that the healing salve would be the most useful, as we do plan to continue traveling.
By all means, it is yours.
Character nods politely and sort of pulls it over to one side of the table, listening like this is ours. Would you still like some tea?
I would, as I do have a few questions for you.
I will do my best to answer, he says, getting up and getting his set out of his bag. Busying himself.
His eyes clearly look towards Six and Reverence at this time. I assume you trust them.
They have saved us many times over at this point, and I would say yes.
He points at your bird. How long?
What's the actual in seconds? Okay. It is difficult to remember at this point. It has been quite some time. I would say perhaps a couple of years.
Deception.
Oh,
I can see that, at the very least, something you and your companions do not wish to speak with me about. I will not press on your idola. I do not care. I merely wish to know if it was dangerous and if you took it from someone from here.
oh no, absolutely not. This companion joined me. Hold on. I'm just trying to remember the exact details. I don't think we took it by force, didn't we? But it was from a guardian.
Zura gave it to you.
Oh yeah. No,
Well, technically, you took it from Zura, but yes.
Yeah. This was provided willingly by as a gift. It was not dangerous when it was passed on. And this was, of course, beyond the borders of Viridia.
And do you know what they are?
I am learning, day by day.
I see. If I may ask a rude follow-up question at this point, as I can tell that you are not going to answer me truthfully, or at the very least, as much as I would like. The woman who was with you, what is her name?
I only know her as Navali. She is Lady Permelia's personal bodyguard.
I do not believe you.
Which part do you not believe? I am sorry.
Oh, I believe that her name is true, but I do not know why she would be willingly working under someone in our military.
Why would you say that?
She's far too familiar.
Well, I cannot
Where did you
personally.
meet her? Or where did Lady Permelia meet her, if that would be easier for you?
I am fairly certain it is Dolvaran.
I see. Well, we will be in town for at least a few weeks while we get things prepared. I would like to speak with Navali if she is available before you leave.
I will request it of the Lady Familiar.
I prefer you request it of Navali, but if that is the way you wish to do things, very well.
Character gives a polite smile and serves tea.
For the sake of my curiosity, could you roll me a general charisma check for how good the tea is?
Okay. I'm ready for it to be terrible because he's been incredibly nervous this entire time. Well, not incredibly nervous, but Oof. He's oversteeped it. Too much talking.
There is definitely that bitterness that you can see anytime anyone sips of that wince of like, that you can't possibly be drinking this because it tastes good.
Character apologizes and says it is difficult to get it correct with the water. It is very sensitive.
I pretend to enjoy it.
Regardless, enjoy your time here. I'm sure that the child of the Lavinias will take good care of you.
Character looks politely blank at this name. I hope so too. Thank you.
Skern.
So,
While we're here, can I proc Know Your Enemy on this guy?
absolutely.
You said that he had like a broad build, right?
Yes, he's a little over 6 feet tall and seems fairly wide.
Okay. I want to test. Is he armored right now?
Yes.
I want to test his armor class versus my own 18.
Higher.
And I want to test his constitution against my 14.
Higher.
Okay. I choose to imagine that it's not particularly subtle when Six sizes someone up, but it's not like she's looking for an in. She's just assessing him.
Yeah. You can tell that he notices, but doesn't seem to mind, as if this is something that is completely ordinary.
Yeah. She's particularly interested in like his armor, his weapons. Out of character, anyone who's capable of cutting that creature in half has to be very powerful.
Roll me. Ooh. There has to be something good for this. Choose an intelligence skill. Pick one of those.
I'll choose investigation.
I like that one. There is an argument for basically all of them as why. You know what the worst part is?
What?
That's one of the best rolls tonight.
Yep.
6. You've dealt with some magic weapons over the past few months. You have some. Everything on him is magical, for certain. It's like dirt seems to just fall off of it rather than being overly polished. His armor gleams in such a way that you are positive that it's stronger than what normal armor can do. and the sword on his back, it kind of reminds you of the other great sword that got shattered recently, in the sense that it definitely is stronger than what a normal greatsword should be able to do. It seems to have sigils just on its hilt. You're not quite sure what any of them can actually do, but you're positive that he is wearing full set of magical armor and weapon.
I assume this happens as sort of the tea conversation is happening, perhaps over the course of a couple minutes.
Yeah, there is no reason that you're not looking at all of this, especially while Karatosh is talking to him.
I know that there's like no mechanical reason this should work, and I'm not expecting it to, but as people have sort of glanced behind Karato to acknowledge his Eidolon, she thinks maybe if she looks in the right direction, she'll see his.
You don't have one to begin with, but fair.
She doesn't know. She's looking around for something that isn't there, or if it was, she wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
Perception. 6. It is a room. His weapons and armor are very shiny.
I'm so good at this.
Well, is there any other conversations that you would like to have as you do not enjoy your tea?
Yes.
Go for it.
She looks like she wants to speak, and she's looking at Scarlet directly.
He's just watching you. He doesn't directly say yes or no, but he is clearly someone who is keeping an eye on everyone in this room.
Okay, I'm gonna be brave. I'm sorry. 6 speaks up. You want to speak to Navali. Why?
I do.
What should I tell her?
I wish to know why she is here. That is all.
That makes sense. I don't say that out loud. I'm thinking that. Satisfied, she nods.
Karato tries to affect a look of irritation that he has seen many times on the faces of nobles when servants speak out of turn, but says nothing of it. Would you like a performance?
I would love a performance.
Let's go over dramatic. Where is it? Where is it? There you go, performance. I don't know why I wasn't actually reading that.
I side-eye Karito like no one is going to believe that.
Karto, you were pretty sure that he did not believe anything about this situation. You are now positive that he thinks you've been bullshitting everything you've said to him.
Well, at least I'm consistent.
Well, thank you for this unique delicacy from your homeland. If you would like to speak to any of us, we will be here for some time, and please find me if Navali is willing to speak with me.
Karato nods. Of course. Hopefully next time I am able to serve you tea, it is much more palatable.
As we've spoken about his intent to meet with Navali a few times, is there a chance that I could roll insight to try and discern his true intentions with her?
Sure.
Rev would also like to if he's able.
Nope.
I'll allow Rev. Rev's there. Hard to read.
Would you like
Put
Harry
these
to
out
do
of
it
the
as
way.
well?
No.
Aw. I'm the only one trained inside as well.
Yeah, but you're pretending to act.
I'm
It's
trained
true.
in insight.
Oh, are you? Okay, I didn't know.
That was a natural 1.
Oh, yeah, I see now.
Well, it's a good thing this wasn't combat, or you would all be very dead, apparently.
Karato sees him to the door.
he leaves. There is a small pause as the other man kind of looks at all of you. You can tell that he could also feel this was very awkward and he could not figure out why. Right. Just so you're aware, if you want anything else, I'm willing to sell them. It's just that I was told that you absolutely deserved at least getting one of them for free. We can talk about prices later if you're interested.
Character nods. We will consider it. Thank you.
He nods and heads out.
She exhales loudly.
Rev puts his head in his hands.
Remind me why I am the one who keeps getting put in these situations.
Because you look human.
Yes.
If you want one of us to speak, you need to prompt us. Cue us. We are servants, remember?
Oh, he doesn't believe that.
No, I don't believe
none
he
of
does.
them do. None of them do. And if we go in with deception, we're just gonna make him mad. No, he's got us all figured out.
Karuto is going to stealthily check just outside the door, see if there's anyone actually if he or his friend is watching us.
Now they completely fucked off. They went all the way back and have been looking for their companions at this point.
Ooh. Let's go back next door to Navali.
Really quickly, before we go, if neither of you want to tell her, I'm gonna tell her.
About his desire to meet with her.
Yep.
Character gestures, be my guest.
I look at Rev.
I mean, I can if you don't want to.
I'll do it. I'm not afraid of hurting her feelings.
Kind of folds his ears, but he nods.
Well, as you head back to the other room, Leo, that spell has been done for a while, as you might imagine.
Yeah, I was gonna. I'm not the one with the keen hearing, but out of curiosity, are these like? I don't know if we had adjacent rooms with thin walls. Like,
You
was any
definitely
of
had
that-
adjacent rooms. I will allow a perception to see if you could overhear anything. Though I will just straight up tell you the DC is over 20.
Sure. You said perception.
Yes.
If it's over 20, I mean I have +0, so
You
Yeah.
did not roll a natural 20, unfortunately. Navali, I'm not going to let you roll because you're currently panicking.
Yeah, no, I understand.
yeah.
What about No.
I imagine as Leo was beginning to cast the spell, maybe what he did here was like heavy footsteps crossing the door, and like that's maybe at most the sound of the other door opening.
Yeah, like you
and that-
probably did hear those things for sure.
Yeah, and it gave Leo some relief to be like, all right, well, as you hear danger walk past your door, you feel a little bit relieved. But he completes the spell anyway, and just sort of assesses. He's not keenly trying to listen in, but he's just sort of assessing the rest of the crew in the room.
Is there anything that during the Scarlet conversation the other group would like to be doing before everyone comes back? Because they were gone for 5 to 10 minutes.
I think the only thing that Navali is probably doing is that she's calming down, but she kind of keeps like looking at the door with the sort of look on her face of like, I need to go back, I need to go make sure they're okay, but she's like, she doesn't look like she can willingly do it, if that makes sense. She looks very conflicted.
I will say that Permelia is going to just hold your hand and just start brushing her hair as the only thing she can think of that might be it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Leo's keeping a respectable distance in that, like, Permelia has you covered, but he wants to be present as well. So I'm imagining him like facing towards you with his head down 10 feet away.
Party regroups. You open the door. I assume Leo made sure
Yes.
that you could come in.
Yes, people. The door opens just enough for it to not hit the dome, and then I let them in. Everything squared away.
That is a way of saying it. I think the only way that could have gone worse is if we had openly borne arms against him.
I disagree. It was awkward, but it wasn't bad.
Yes, well, you were able to remain silent.
Man, you got your whole ass ate, Karito.
Kaito looks up very uncertain by this turn of phrase.
They gave us a gift for killing that creature. It's, what is it, a healing item?
Mm.
I look at Karito.
A healing salve. It should prove useful.
Leorin, would you mind inspecting it, just to be safe?
Of course. Feeling safe within the dome, Leo will take his time though.
Identify spell, I assume.
Yeah, and I've seen, so I've already seen what it does just from the item sheet, but I guess I'm looking to see if any additional spells have been cast on it.
Nope. It is exactly what it says on the tin.
All right, well, Leo's ritual casting that, so he still has time to not be part of the conversation for a second.
But with the party regrouped, Navali's probably still not doing well.
Yeah, she's still, like, just kind of on the bed.
I go over to Navali.
6, when you approach Navali, she's, like, not even looking at you.
Hey,
What?
you okay?
No.
She nods. So, I'm not gonna claim that I can possibly know what you're thinking or feeling right now. So I'm just not.
Hey,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm not expecting you to understand. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just
yeah.
don't expect it.
I'm gonna, while we're here and while you're dealing with it, he asked if he could talk to you, and we didn't say that you would. He left an open invitation, and I asked him why, and he said he wants to know why you're here.
So he does remember me then.
He saw right through all of us, Navali. I don't think we could hide anything from him. But that dude is scary, and he is decked out in some fancy fucking armor and weapons. And if he wanted any of us dead, then we wouldn't be alive anymore.
Yeah. I mean, from the brief glimpse I got from him, he was as scary as I remember.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you all had to go through that and that I couldn't be there. I
What?
should have, but I
No. No,
couldn't.
you cut that shit out. No, you're allowed to be sad.
Mm.
You're
Navali kind of
also
looks
allowed to be
sad.
scared. It's okay.
Navali, like, hearing that, she has a very conflicting expression. It's a mixture of, like, she's happy to hear those words, but she's also ashamed of it. Thank you. But if I had... never mind. It doesn't do good thinking on what ifs. He wants to meet me. Alright. I'll meet him. He wants to talk to me? Fine. I'm going to need some time. But before we leave, I will speak with him.
I think that it might be good for you.
Do you want any of us to come with you?
For my safety, because I am uncertain of how our conversation will go. It might be best, but at the same time, I wonder if I should just do this on my own. I will need some time to think about it. Maybe a few days. Or however long we have.
Sure, but let me get this out of the way. Six turns to the rest of the party. Hey guys, if Navali decides she wants some backup when she goes to General Scarlet, are all of you willing to risk yourselves to go meet with him and protect her?
Of course.
Leo nods, as if it was obvious.
Definitely.
If she had said no, I would have shadowed her regardless.
And frankly, if you go alone, we'll have an eye out some way or the other, just in case.
I'm guessing Perm and Navali are still holding hands.
I assume.
Perm would be feeling Navali's like hand shaking more, and Navali kind of looks away. Perm and Six are probably able to see it, but Navali is like kind of quietly crying.
Well, why don't we try to make sure that everything is going to be okay for meeting my family, and let's check on some supplies and leave. Do you want me to stay while everyone gets some things ready?
Navali doesn't say anything, but she is nodding.
Six, you can see that pleading look in Permelia's eyes of understanding of, quick, I need them to leave as a distraction so she feels better.
Hey everyone, we should go finish getting supplies, so let's clear out and give Navali some space.
There isn't even a single moment of protest from Garta.
Yep, Rev will go with.
Leo only sort of, before he leaves, he does say,
Well, party, I'm going to ask what you intend to do for the day in general, just as a sort of, I'm assuming that you don't do anything super important. But you definitely kind of waste the day away as it was a stressful morning.
Bernok, were you saying something?
"Oh, I was just saying that Leo wasn't ready to leave the room just very, very immediately. He would give the
Do
option.
you do
of-
anything in particular for the day?
Can Sker not hear me?
Are you having problems hearing knock?
Can you hear any of us?
I don't think so.
Oh no, Sker!
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Technical difficulties. Someone DM him. Or that, yeah.
I am having technical difficulties. You are correct. I have fixed them.
I was like, my man is being so rude. What's up with this? What's up with this shade thrown at Leo?
Clearly, I need to just ignore Leo. I apologize.
That's fine. That's fine. All right.
Oh, Lord.
Leo was gonna do something or say something.
Yeah, so not knowing where you cut off, everybody was getting ready to leave the room, and Leo paused for a second just to offer, should I? And he's sort of saying this to the air, but sort of pointed towards Permelia and Navali for their input mostly. Of, should I stay with you all to keep the dome up, or do you? Or should I leave?
You can definitely see Permelia's looking at Navali for the answer there.
I appreciate it, Leo. I think we'll be okay. I just need some time here. But thank you.
Okay. Leo nods, but he leaves with the party. I expect that he will do his best to be able to have a dome up during like the night or whatever for the group, but that's all he has.
I assume that's not too difficult to do.
As far as other things that we're doing today, I feel like we did finish securing those supplies already. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe you spent a shitload of money on it.
Like 300 gold or something, wasn't it?
About
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So I think all we really had was that we were waiting, or maybe we had already received word that Permelia's parents are ready to meet us. So we could just like I think that I guess I'm asking to the group. Those are the only things that were really on the to-do list, right?
It's true. Do you intend to waste things until Navali feels confident enough to meet with Scarlet, or you intend to just try and push towards meeting Permelia's stuff early? Or as soon as possible, I should say, not early.
If I recall, our only reason to rush was because of trying to avoid the conversation that just happened, so I think we can just give Navali time. I think that's right.
Yeah.
That
It's
doesn't even sound
possible.
correct.
Yeah, it might be that, and I'm trying to remember if we felt like we would need to run away from Permelia's family at all.
You definitely had that concept in your mind of a possibility, yes.
Okay.
Oh, hey. While we're all here... Okay, one, didn't want to step on your toes or anything, Rev. It just seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Of course.
Two, I'm worried about the meeting with Permelia's parents. And if it turns, like, really violent and we have to fight, can we all agree that we're, like, not going to kill anybody?
I should hope so. I mean,
I feel like killing Permelia's parents might be bad form.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Okay, I thought you guys would think that way, but I wanted to make sure.
Rev's trying to get a read on 6. Like, where is this coming from?
Roll insight? It's not. She's not subtle. She's perhaps more nervous about meeting Permelia's parents than she is about meeting Scarlet.
Well, on the off chance we need to run fast from that situation, should we not encourage Navali to speak sooner? She can speak whenever she's ready, but I feel like that is the first item on the agenda. Like if we need to get out of here fast, we can't stop by and say hello to Scarlet on the way out.
I feel that if we are in such a state that Navali may understand that we had to skip such an option. If we had to flee, that is.
Should we? Should you said Six that we've been figured out? Should we even keep up the charade around them at this point?
Oh, yeah. Like, as far as I know, they're just a bunch of haughty rich people. Okay, actually, I do know a little more than that. Permelia was telling me about her family, back when we were in the manor. Anyway, she described her parents. The read that I got is that one might kind of be similar to Solastra, and one might be similar to me. They're both apparently adventurers or, like, combat experienced.
Similar to me, you say?
Yeah, but
Archer looking confused. Like, but then how is she human?
no, I mean, like, Navali, you, like, pray to your god, and not Navali, Solastra, you, like, pray to Tharnakul and get spells, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, one of her parents is a priest, I think, for Herodine.
Oh. Interesting.
Ah, you mean as in profession, I see, yes.
Yeah.
Good to know. I did want to rewind, though. I suppose what I meant about keeping up the charade, I meant in front of Scarlet.
Oh, I don't see
We've
any
been
point in
figured
that.
out.
I look at Rev for confirmation.
No, I don't think so.
Each time he figured Karito out, he looked kind of upset or irritated, so I just don't want to make him mad. He's scary as fuck.
It's probably wise, yes.
I wonder if he has fond memories of Linnell, since she seems so fond of him.
You can go ask him. He said he'd meet with us.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go play the 3 emblems. Do any of you want to face me? We gotta kill time somehow.
I would not mind learning.
Okay, I'm basically an expert at this point. I'll teach you.
Karuto, I'd like you to roll me intelligence versus Six's intelligence.
Okay.
6, you lose.
You don't even know how to play!
It is fairly intuitive. Perhaps it is beginner's luck. One more?
One more.
Sure.
Can Leo be watching? He wants to be learning as this happens.
Oh, that was nearly a 14.
Oh.
There you go.
6, you literally just did what Karuto did to you, and Karuto did not know how to stop it.
Oh,
And yes, Leo, if no one stops you, you're easily able to watch this game.
Leo thinks he could have done it better. In his head, he not necessarily saying he did because that was a natural 20, but in his head, Leo's like is looking at Six's moves and sort of scratching his chin and sort of considering himself if that was the play.
On the contrary, I think Leo's is better. He's simply capable of doing better than Six is capable of doing right now.
Okay, best of 3.
Oh, you're just saying that because you got your ass kicked. Yeah,
I
she's
want you
on.
both to know this is like a 2-hour game each time.
You told us to kill time. I'm killing time.
Fair enough.
My sheet is stuck to my mouse pointer for some reason. Ah, get off! It's still stuck. Roll 20, why you do this? Okay, there you are. I stood. Ooh.
6 hours have passed, and because of this, 6 has won twice.
This is actually the first 2 times I've ever won.
What a
Agnes squints. You told me you were good at this.
Yeah, Permelia's just a legend. They say that she's blessed by the gods. You've seen her in combat.
Harrington nods assentingly.
I don't even know how to react to that. Is there anything else people do for besides Six and Karuto who are playing a board game for 6 hours?
Excuse you, it's a tactical battle simulator?
Celestra's
A
probably
tactical
just watching.
battles board game, yes.
What's up, Celastra?
She's just watching, enjoying seeing the pieces she made being used.
Honestly, there's probably that awkward time where you take out the Scarlet piece.
We're just gonna put that one aside.
It's okay, Navali's not there to see it.
Leo probably wouldn't have stuck around for the third game necessarily, but at some point he would just, assuming Rev's in this room with us, just say, Rev, I would like to go for a walk and see if there's a library around here or temples. It's the only time I feel like the only opportunity I have to read about Iridia from the source, if that makes sense. Would that be okay?
Of course. Just head down.
He nods. I mean, Leo's not going to cause any trouble, but he also is human at least. So, says I won't be long. And my goal, Skern, is actually to look into, I think it was Zudan, the Iridian god of lightning.
Yep.
Leo would look into either a nearby temple or library that might have religious texts.
There is a temple to Zudin here, so I'm just going to ask for investigation, but actually finding it is going to happen, just how long it takes. It's not too bad. You ask for directions, you get it pretty quickly. There is a temple to Zudin. You can quickly tell that all the architecture is clouds and lightning bolts. It's fairly. It's not exactly well made in the sense of this is not an extravagant temple. This is more of just. It's like a rural church. It's clearly well taken care of and well loved, but they didn't put an extravagant amount of money into it.
Mm-hmm. I would just try to flag down the not receptionist, but like whatever priest is sort of walking around doing things.
There's not too much issue in doing that, as you clearly have some kind of curiosity and questions. A couple of people who are just out and about and taking care of things. One of them will come over and check on you. Yes, sir. May I help you?
Yes, I am unfamiliar with Zudin, and I have a curiosity on what sort of tenets of your religion, how they render in the world, what how Zudin came to be. It's kind of a scholarly sort of curiosity. I don't know if this is the right place to look to, or if you're the right person to
Persuasion.
talk to.
With advantage, because it's a priest who always loves to talk. Well, you must not be from Iridia. Can you tell me where your birthplace is?
Unfortunately, no. I'm not quite sure. I was taken from there by my mother some time ago, but I spent the majority of my time and majority of my life around Voluminius, across the sea.
I see. Well, the reason that I mention this is your questions might offend some people, so I ask you to be careful with this, as you have essentially stated that the five true gods, you do not know anything of the very creation of this world. And while I will not take offense, as clearly this is from pure ignorance and nothing that you meant an insult to, there are some who would certainly see this as a possibility that you worship false idols. But for the creation myth, it is not a very complicated one. There were five gods in the origination of this world. They each decided to take part of the domain and create what shall become the natural order of things. Zudin, was the one who took control of the skies, so therefore the birds may fly freely and all can easily breathe the air, and the clouds shall move, and when they become angry, lightning shall strike those and smite those who are false to the five. There is not too much more to this unless you would like to get into the direct actual creation myth, but this would be a very long and involved story. I would personally suggest that you instead head towards the capital. Uh, do you have a map? I'm happy to mark where the capital is if you are new to this land.
I don't think Leo has a map, but he will. He'll just ask. I know somebody who's familiar with where the capital is, but is there a particular location within the capital that I should keep an eye out for?
So, in the capital, there is the Great Temple. It is in the name. This is where all priests of the five pilgrimage to in order to learn the secrets and actually hear the words of the gods themselves. Uh, should you enter there, you'd likely be able to hear the words of the gods themselves and be able to understand why they are the five true gods and understand why we so fervently are devout to them.
If I may ask, because I feel I offended you with my question earlier, I having this be sort of a scholarly pursuit, what is the most appropriate way to explain to somebody that I am not aware of the teachings?
Simply ask that you wish to learn more about the five, or in a particular god in this case. If you wish to learn more about the sky and the lightning, simply ask, I would love to learn more about Zudin, but with the exact phrasing you stated, it seemed a bit as if you might believe in a different god.
Oh, I don't. I do not.
Well, that is excellent to hear. Then I would highly encourage this, as this would give a great insight into how the world was created and how we know that they are the five true gods.
Very good. Uh, Leo looks like Leo's not expecting a pamphlet or anything, but he's sort of looking around for like what he's just trying to take in sort of the environment, and says, "Does just one question before perhaps I head to uh, continue my own journey. If Zudin uses lightning to strike down those who are false, what does it mean for an individual to be able to command the power of lightning and thunder?
It means you are blessed by the gods.
Hmm.
Uh, I suppose I should give slightly more detail than just blessed. Uh, it means that if you are stating that you find someone who can control lightning in such a way, they are a guiding force. They can. Part of the teachings of Zudin is by controlling the skies, they control the air, the wind. They are what makes ships move. They are what the currents seem to follow. You will become the current if you control the lightning.
Are people born with this? I know that people have the ability to manipulate the weave uh, to their own vices through arcane formulas and things of that nature. But if somebody, you seem to speak of somebody who comes upon the power not necessarily through those means,
When it
or is it
comes
all the
to
same?
the priests and priestesses of our faith, we have found, especially when you head to the Great Temple, I'm sure you will get a great deal more information about this. I wish I could give more, but it is difficult without hearing the voice directly. This is based upon my memory. That they choose for us. It's not, we can learn and we can be given the gifts, but what in particular we are able to master and control is not based upon what our own abilities are, but what they choose for us.
Hmm. Well, I don't wish to take up more of your time, but it has been an excellent introduction to the five. Uh, and what is your name?
It would be Elric Elvist. I'm not using that third name. One moment, please. Qualm. Yeah, that is a weird one. Von Gerallia.
Well, pleased to meet you, and thank you for your time.
Excellent to meet you as well. May I have your name?
Leorin.
There
we
is
have
this
short- we
long
have short-
pause.
Leo, this is a chronicler von Voluminius, I suppose. I'm sorry, we have shorter names where I'm from.
It is a pleasure to meet you, and I hope that the true gods speak to you in your future.
Leo nods and departs.
Navali, is there anything in particular you'd like to do?
Yes. So I imagine like probably the next hour or two is just Navali still continuing to kind of like collect herself, maybe just sort of make idle talk with Perm. And then when it's quiet again, Navali has she now has the appearance of she feels a little better, though she still seems a little bit solemn. Thank you for staying here with me, Perm. I feel admittedly embarrassed by the way I was back there, but I'm very thankful that you're here right now.
I'm glad to be here. Well, you're all willing to risk yourselves for me. This is the least I can do.
Yes. I forget sometimes that I'm with people who will go far beyond what I would ever ask of them for me. And I'm grateful for it. I'm sure you've experienced some of that.
You're all literally here. Yes. I don't even know what to say about getting all of you to come here. I'm still afraid that I've led you all into danger, and apparently I have. But I am also glad you're here, and I really hope that this isn't my fault in some way.
No, of course not, Perm. It's not your fault. We had no idea that well, Scarlet was going to be here. I mean, I guess being in Aurelia, there's a chance, but I don't think anyone could have ever predicted that. Still, it's strange seeing him again. I almost felt as if I was a child again looking at him. All of the fear and panic. It was like I was taken back in that moment. And I always thought to myself that if I were to see him again, that I would be able to face him with strength and my my honor with me and my choices in my life to show him that I am not the scared little girl I was. And today, I am that scared little girl again. Makes you realize that things in your head, the way that you want them to go, don't always go the way that you think they are. I just wish I guess I could have proven to myself that I am not her anymore.
I've never met that little girl, but I know you. And you are still one of the strongest and fearless persons I've ever met. You run into the most danger repeatedly. I constantly think you're going to die suddenly. I don't know why you feel like you can't speak to him or why you think this is a nightmare. But I know you, and I know if he attacked any of us, well, you would find a way to kill him. Well, knock him out. This group's very bad at killing.
Yeah. We are very bad at that, actually. Not that I think that's entirely a bad thing. Thank you, Park. I know I am not that person anymore. I know that times have changed and I am very different than what I was before. And she kind of like has a sort of like lawnful look. She kind of I don't know if there's like a window out in this room at all, but if there was,
Sure.
she would be kind of like looking out into the distance, like my mother. I always felt as if she had not one fearful bone in her body. She too would speak stories of running headfirst into battle and coming back with grand trophies of uh, her monster kills, I guess. Sometimes she brought so many weird things that it would worry my father, and she would be so excited to tell me all these stories, and I always thought she was so brave for all these creatures and monsters and people that she defended us from and she protected us from. And, well, I always wanted to be fearless like her. I wanted to be able to stand tall and be a shield for those who I care about, just like she was for me and my father. And thinking on how I would meet Scarlet, I thought I would meet him like my mother would meet another. She would stand tall and stomp her feet and smile in danger. But I think my problem is I think too much on how my mother would be, and I don't think about how I would be. And sometimes I'm not certain who that is, Permelia.
Could you roll me persuasion?
Yes.
There is a bit of an awkward pause as you say her name, as if she's trying to figure out what to say. And eventually she takes a deep breath. I don't know who your mother was, but you know me, and you know, I hope you know that I'm afraid of a lot of things. I don't think fear is a bad thing. I think it helps push people to do things, and I think it might be unhealthy to try and avoid it and think that you should not have it. And maybe you didn't stand tall today, but maybe that's because you knew if you did, maybe someone who you love would get hurt instead. I I think you care deeply about everybody, and you just don't want anyone to get hurt. I think you don't want to lose anyone ever again. I think that's who you are.
Navali looks to Perm and smiles. Yes, watching Six die reminded me almost of watching my mother and father get murdered in front of me. I always said to myself I wasn't going to let that happen again, and it happened in front of me. That's why I'm almost hesitant on asking the others to come join me in meeting with Scarlet. But I also know, hearing them speak today, that I don't think they would also let me go off by myself. And for that, I'm very thankful.
You can hear a very quick laugh. Well, if you remember, I was going to go here by myself, and then everyone went, nope. So I think that's just what they do.
That's... that is exactly how it happened. I think that's another habit this group has. But it's something I am grateful for. I didn't used to have that. I didn't used to have a lot of this. But I do now. And I still don't know what I will say to Scarlet when we speak. But I feel like as long as I have all of you, I think I can be brave.
Well, if he tries to hurt you, I promise I will be there to at least block one of his strikes. I'm not sure if I can do two.
Blocking one strike might be all we need. Who knows? Maybe we could kick his ass.
Exactly. Maybe we can. Now he's a legend, and I've always wanted to, I'm sure it will be fine.
Yes. I'm sure everything will be okay. Thank you, Perm.
Well, with that, is there anything else people would like to do for the day? That seems like a no.
I guess I would wager at this point, with so much going on and lots of games of
Yeah, if Six
It's
or
nighttime.
Karuto said anything, I'd be like, no, you played a board game.
we're probably approaching nighttime, I imagine, right?
Yeah, for certain. Well, as you all prepare for sleep, as Navali has calmed down, you think about what you're going to do for the next few days and what kind of conversations are going to happen when Navali meets Scarlet. We'll take a small break.
Boy,
Woohoo!
Hey.
Okay. I'm going to just say you successfully long rest. I'm going to ask, do you want to kind of fast forward until Navali is ready to go speak with Scarlet?
And we could probably hand wave a few things, be like, yeah, we make sure we can leave in a hurry if we need to. But does everyone have like anything they want to do? Any scenes they want to have until then?
The only thing that I'd say is maybe we should have a scene discussion of, like, talking to Scarlet.
Oh, I mean, you're going to talk to Scarlet, but
No, I mean, as in the group talks about talking to Scarlet.
Ah.
Like,
sure.
that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Does Navali call team meeting?
Sure.
Call team meeting.
All right. In a little bit, I have a meeting with Scarlet. I've been doing some thinking. I think it would be safer if I had someone to join me. I am uncertain if I should be like, whoever wants to join us can join us, or if he might take that as an insult and that we're, I don't know. I don't know. So I thought perhaps maybe we talk about it.
I'm not doing this for his feelings, Navali. I'm doing it for yours.
Yes, let him be insulted.
All right.
do you want people to join you within eyesight or within earshot? Do you want to have a private conversation with him that just sort of has backup on the fringes?
I don't believe I can face him if I don't have you all with me. I have nothing to hide from all of you. Our conversation and everything that will be said, I want all of you to be there for it. So, if it's alright, or maybe tactically, if it's better, if some maybe keep a distance. What I'm saying is I would like it if all of us came.
I'm in, and if he tries to hurt you, I'll beat the fuck out of him.
If he tries to hurt any of you, then I will beat the fuck out of him.
Should we not?
No, of course we are going to avoid that. I have been thinking as to exactly why he wants to have a conversation solely with me, and I know with what he said to Six that he just simply wants to know why I'm here. But I also wonder if he's after more, which is why I wish for you all to be there with me. And also help calm my nerves.
Okay. I'm going to ask a very important question. Do you want to have a drink before you meet him?
You know, the last few times I have drank, I have gotten tipsy.
Yes.
So, as wonderful as that sounds, I should probably say no so I just don't embarrass myself. I will be fine. You're all going to be there. I will be fine. I guess the other thing I'm curious about is I understand that sort of trying to keep up the facade of why we are here maybe has not worked, and if we are to be open with him, if he asks certain questions. Curious about what others think about that.
I hesitate about being open per se, but I see what you're saying. It perhaps does not behoove us if he asks a direct question, depending on what it is, to answer thoroughly.
Parm? I already
Sorry, you weren't. Continue.
I already know what I'm going to say to him, but I want to ask you if you are alright with it. I don't want anything to come back and potentially hurt you, or I know what I want to say, but I'm worried it might come back and hurt you.
I trust you.
Okay. Alright. Then we won't be exactly open, but we won't hide who we are. Does that sound about right?
Rebel nod.
Nuts.
Carito gives a thumbs up.
Leo nods, but then also says, well, we do have to keep up the charade with the rest of Iridia, so perhaps there's an open field somewhere that we could arrange a meeting at. I don't think we should all squeeze into this tiny room.
Yes. I feel that would be wise. Perhaps making sure that we have no other prying ears in our conversation.
There's a beautiful pond just a bit to the west. It'll take about 30 minutes to walk there.
It's a beautiful battle map that I have prepared.
I don't know what you're
That's a
talking
pond
about.
on it.
Well, I don't know any other place around here that we can go. I think Beautiful Pond it is.
Before we go, I want to give an inspiring speech about how we're all here for Navali and how we're ready to support her as she seeks answers for what happened to her. And how, let's be honest, Navali's fucking rad.
Oh, Navali's inspired.
Is that every character?
What do you mean?
Are you capable of giving it to everybody in the party?
Yes, I, want to give the speech to the party of, remember, we're in this for Navali, our trusted friend, who's facing a lot, so let's do our best and put our best foot forward. But for 10 minutes.
It is up to 6 creatures.
Oh, okay, I will exclude myself.
Okay. Yes, that was what my question was.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You should exclude Carito instead, because Carito always stands at the back.
He does. We know that General Scarlet has ranged attacks, and Carito's one of the frailest members of the party.
Ah, there you go. There's our strategist.
I have the highest health in the party, tied with Navali. I can take it.
I am putting that temp HP right now.
It's 11.
Oh, 11. Hell yeah.
With that inspiring speech, you tell the innkeeper that there's that group that you would like to meet them and where you're going, and you head there.
I want to add.
Go ahead.
Just for the, so there's sort of like, all right, we know where we are going to be. We know what direction we think that they're going to be coming from, and so Leo would want to send his familiar. He'll summon it, the Red Cardinal. Send his familiar to sort of do a perimeter check, basically checking to make sure that around this lake that Scarlet doesn't send like additional forces to flank or block an egress point. There's just sort of like trying to make sure that everything is on the up and up, from as best as Leo's familiar can determine it. By the time and he would do this around the time, like 5 minutes before he would expect them to arrive.
Okay. Roll a perception for your bird.
It's advantage because it's a bird.
Correct.
Oops, that didn't roll.
Low-key thinking about summoning Mira, but also remember that she is currently going the road back with VD.
VD might be a little upset.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the bird does catch Scarlet coming, and he is actually coming with that same group of four. As they get closer, that group of four, well, he's part of the group of four. As they get closer, the three of them stop and stay close enough that they could, if something happens, clearly help, but they're not blocking anything. It's more of they're off to the side waiting.
Is this the entire troop that we've seen?
Yes,
So there's like only 4 of them in total?
as far as you can tell.
Okay. The bird will perch up somewhere, and Leo comes out of his familiar sight and kind of whispers before Scarlet gets in range and says, everything seems to be on the up and up.
As he approaches, he kind of looks around. Is anyone actually hiding?
Not even
Rev
Kiara.
is
So he definitely clocks that there are a lot of people. But he simply continues to walk forward and head straight towards Navali.
I so imagine in this company that we aren't putting the humans forward at the moment.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
It's also, at least for 6, she's going to hang back at a distance the same way that Scarlet's men are hanging back, where she can intervene if something happens.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say mirroring is the most sensible policy, though.
I will actually gesture to others to do the same, but you don't have to listen to her.
Yeah. I mean, within earshot, though, because that's was sort of the request. So I don't know if Scarlet's people are standing further back.
You can tell they're standing further back than most earshots, but still up to you. You can be closer. It's up to you.
60 feet?
Sure.
How does that sound to you guys?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't really know what earshot is, but Leo would want to be in that. But also, I guess it depends on how loud they're talking. So 60 feet's fine.
Okay. He approaches you, Navali.
Mhm.
Is there any direct reaction you have as he starts approaching?
Navali, she is at least standing up tall. She does not have a weapon in hand, but she is giving the look of, if he noticed her before, she looks different now. She looks a lot more confident.
He approaches. He doesn't seem to have any reaction to your confidence. You can see his eye constantly looking towards the rest of the group and actually catching that you brought Permelia with you, but he does not question that either. I was told your name is Navali. Is this correct?
That's correct.
Before I ask anything else, does the name Mira mean anything to you?
It does.
You look very similar. Can I assume you are her daughter?
You can.
So, you understand why I'm very confused to why you are here.
I do. But I don't see how it's any of your business.
In many ways, it shouldn't be. But there is a lot going on that I am required to know. And I mean no harm if you mean no harm at the moment. But I do not know what your intentions are, and I need to know them.
If we're going to do this, then I need to know some things myself. But I don't know if I trust you to answer them honestly.
He seems to be casting a spell. It does not seem to be a hostile spell, but there is definitely a spell being cast. Do you do anything about that?
Can I try to discern, like, what kind of spell it is?
Religion.
Yeah. Not bad, actually.
It's Zone of Truth.
Is he also doing it with the intent on speaking, or
He's
having it
intending
cast
to
on
cast it directly on himself and you simultaneously.
her? Okay. I'm guessing I can't resist the
You could.
Zone of
Zone of Truth is, you can resist it if you want to. It's,
Yeah, can
you'd
I-
have to-
They do know if you resist it, though.
Yes.
They do? Okay.
You want to roll the wisdom saving throw.
I'm gonna choose not to resist it.
Okay. You feel the spell take effect and you are required to tell the truth. However, that does not mean you have to speak. It just means that anything you say has to be true. Is that satisfactory to you?
It is. You are here. I will allow you to go first. Ask me your first question.
Can I interject it just very briefly?
Go for it.
Recognize, like, spells being cast, Leo reacts and would cast Detect Magic with the intent of seeing if Scarlet has a spell effect that has taken hold on him. No, it's only 30 feet. I can't
I was
actually.
about to say, I'm pretty sure you're out of range.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Never mind.
You see him thoughtfully for a moment as he realizes exactly how you want to handle this, and there's a clear tension in the air. Very well. I'll repeat the question I've been asking repeatedly. Why are you here?
I'm here to help Perm.
Roll insight.
Ooh.
You can see active confusion on his face for just a split second, as he knows that spell went through, and he does not seem to understand why that could be true.
satisfied?
No, but you may ask a question.
Why did they come to my country? Why did you come?
I came because I was ordered to. The exact reason why is we knew that there was a very powerful thing. He seems to look around and sees Karuto. You know what an Eidolon is.
Yes.
There was a place of power in your homeland. They knew about it. They wanted it under their control. I was informed that the battle would help strengthen it. I now know they lied to me, and that is why I no longer work for them.
Navali has a look of confusion at that. You were told that there was an idola, and
No.
there wasn't.
No, there was, but it did not get strengthened by massacring your people.
All right. Your next question.
He now actually seems to be thinking because of how you put him off guard with your first answer. I suppose I'm going to need clarification. Why do you care about this Iridian Permelia?
You have to think about this 1 sec. When someone is in danger, and when someone asks for my help, when there is someone who needs my shield and my sword, I am always at their side. And Permelia is no different, and she's never been any different. I am here to protect her. I am here to see her mission through.
Roll persuasion. You can see he softens very slightly at that. Not enough to be to the point where he seems to be completely trusting you, even though under his own truth. But enough that he seems to be more curious than worried.
Then it is my question. What was the name of the man who gave you, or the man or woman who gave the order to attack my country?
The DM would like 1 second to look up his notes.
Yes.
I will answer your question, but I require 1 word of clarification. Do you mean the person who gave me the direct order, or do you mean the person who would have gave them their order? Do you want to know why it happened, or do you just care about going up the chain of command?
Want to know why?
High Priestess Integra Caligra is a clairvoyant who is the one telling us where the places of power are. And by her orders, most of the military is willing to go.
Can I get the name in the chat? Thank you. All right. And what is your next question?
Have you heard of the Iron Angel?
I have not.
I will answer a question, but this might require more conversation. Continue.
My mother was an exceptional fighter. I imagine she gave you hell. But I also might be thinking too kindly back on that day. I'm curious to know what you thought of her fighting.
I do not remember the name of everyone who I have fought, and I remember the name of your mother. That should be enough to tell you that she left an impression.
Navali smiles a little at that. Your next question?
I suppose I only have to ask once again, if you are here for her sake, do you intend to leave without causing more harm to these lands?
I didn't come with the intention of hurting anyone in these lands. I came here for Permelia. I don't understand why that's so hard to understand.
Roll insight. You can definitely tell he's thinking about your answers very carefully, as if he's trying to decipher something.
Mm-hmm. Who is this Iron Angel?
The blade of the Iron Angel is the only thing that can sever the connection between two planes. The blade of the Iron Angel lies somewhere that can only be brought to this land when the world itself is within dire straits. I am unsure if you have heard of the Iron Angel, but the fact that you have not means that you have not been home. I found out of its existence from your homeland.
Well, you know there's a pretty good reason why I haven't been back home. I'm sure you don't need any further explanation on that.
No, I do not.
What's your other question?
I do not believe that we need to be so tense. I would actually like to discuss something quite important, if you mean no harm.
That's up for you to decide. If you lay a finger on any of my friends, then that will change.
Why would I harm them?
I have a pretty long history of you harming people that I care about. You promise me that you will not hurt them, and you will not hurt myself, and I will not lift my blade.
Oh, persuasion.
And if this also helps, Navali will grab her sword and toss it away.
I'll out with advantage with that one.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that you can just summon a spear.
Yeah.
He watches the sword bounce onto the ground once, then land in dirt. He reaches up for his back, takes out the very large sword that rests on it, and stabs it deeply into the ground, and then simply steps away from it. I believe that our world is in danger, and that all of you seem to be willing to help even those who you would normally consider enemies. I need information.
If you require information, it is not my decision. I am here with my friends. It is something I must discuss with them.
He looks towards the people who are within 60 feet. I'm waiting.
A moment, then. And Navali will walk over to the group.
Holy shit, Navali, you're doing so good. Holy
Thank
fuck,
you.
I'm scared of you right now.
Thank you. I like to think I'm doing pretty good. He, I guess, wants to talk with us. He says he believes the world is in danger. That we might be able to... In his words, we seem like people who help people even if we consider them enemies. I know, pretty accurate, right? I hate how accurate that is, but...
I told you he sees right through us.
No. So, everyone, I told him that I can't make the decision alone. Do know that I am certain I am under some sort of truth spell.
We walked out of it. It's a zone.
Oh, it's a zone. There is a zone of truth, or a truth area. I'm not sure if Navali actually knows about.
Have that spell.
I do have that spell, it's true. So it's best that we are careful. But if this is something that may be of interest, then we might learn a couple more things that, might be interesting. He too is also under this spell. At least I assume.
Well, this has already turned out to be quite interesting indeed. So, what more could it hurt?
Right.
Okay, I agree, but on one condition. None of us
Yes.
give away each other's shit. We're allowed to talk about our own shit, but not anyone else's. I look at Rev when I say this. Like, not accusing him, more for his benefit.
We'll kind of just look around and see if everyone else is cool with that.
Carter nods.
I'm not
So
even
does
sure
Lastra.
what I'd say.
He did have a lot of questions about why I am around you, Perm. So I don't know if he might be a little suspicious.
She goes very quiet.
All right. And I told him that if he were to lift a finger, that I would attack him. I'm just throwing that out there now, in case he tries anything funny.
Leo kind of is like assessing Navali's demeanor. He sort of gotten a sense of the fact that perhaps, or he's getting an impression that you're not as worried about Scarlet, or that maybe that you're hating him a little less. I don't know. That's what he's trying to figure out, is like, do you still hate him or not?
I mean, can I say roll insight?
I'm going to roll for the sake of it, but I think actually Leo, I'm going to roll and then Leo's just going to ask.
Yeah.
But Leo says, just to make sure we're all on the same page, is he still the bad guy?
I am still extremely conflicted on how I feel about him, Leo. I am learning some more information about my home and the reasoning. I am still conflicted. I am trying to do my best to keep a calm composure.
I'm certainly not an expert at doing that, but let's perhaps take this a day at a time. We don't need to become best friends with him overnight. We can have a brief conversation and then talk with him some other day if we need to.
The faster he gets out of my sight, the better. But we can learn valuable information from him. And I am going to take what I can right now.
Leo nods.
Is everybody ready?
Six stows her weapons away.
Leo will detect magic before going in and confirm that he is still under his zone of truth, or that he ever was.
You walk forward, and yes, he did put it on himself and then intentionally fail. Just had to double check. Yes, the spell is still up. It's 10 minutes.
You spoke of needing some answers yourself. I have spoken with everybody, and we will listen to what you would like to ask.
Do any of you know what the Iron Angel is, or who this is? She. I know it's a she. Do you know who she is?
Nope.
Would Leo be able to roll anything?
I'll let a history, though I will tell you it's a high DC. Yeah.
Worth the shot.
In that case, let me start from the beginning. Do you know what points towards the bird that Karato has? Do you know what they actually are? Three of you can't see what he's pointing at, which is rather funny.
Souls. Like a whole lot of them.
Good. That makes things easier. They should not be able to create so many vestiges and forms so easily. It normally would require powerful magic to create their own dimension to hide in. But they are, and they're capable, because for some reason our world has been linked with the ever changing abyss. They are taking from the abyss to create themselves. I do not know how long our world will last if this continues. I do not know where the link is, but I know it must be severed. So tell me, do any of you know where these creatures from the Rasahari are coming from?
Most of us have not been to the Rasahari, and so it would be foolish to predict what is inside. I do question that myself, and I am curious if any of this connects to the blighted continent overseas. If do you know if these are connected at all?
I personally have not been there, so I could not tell you. But I know that those creatures are not from our world, and therefore it is the most likely candidate for where the link is.
A big dragon died 11 years ago, and then the monsters came. Am I remembering this correctly out of character?
I'm trying to remember if it was 11 or 17 years ago.
It-
That's all. I think it was 11. That seems possible. A powerful ritual, perhaps. Do you know where the dragon? Oh, you must mean the scourge, the butchering.
Yes. Six tries to say no and can't. This is what I know. A bunch of Viridians came to the Rasahari on a rescue mission? They were all killed. That probably led to an Eidolon. Then the big dragon died. Then the monsters appeared.
I see.
What do you know about this dragon?
I know that it was sighted not long before that incident, and it was assumed killed in the incident itself.
Do you know where it died?
Yes.
I want to go there. Will you tell me where it is?
Will you find out if there is, for example, a way to get to the abyss there? And will you tell me when you do?
Yes.
Very well.
I can't speak for all of them, but if they let me go there and I see that there's a link to the abyss, then I will tell you. You can't lie, right? Like, you think the world is really in danger.
Have you not been living in this world for the past 17 years?
Well, yeah, but
Well, I can't. I don't know if we've all stepped into the zone of truth at this point. I'm assuming. Have we?
It's up to you.
Okay. I
Has
just
not
want
forced anyone in, to be
Yeah,
clear.
I just want to state that Leo is in the zone of truth when he says this, and he has surrendered the wisdom save. But he says, "Oh, sorry, was 6 in the zone of truth?"
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so Leo, clearly also in the zone of truth, will say, "If 6 wishes to share this information with you, then I promise to communicate it to you directly through magical means if we're not to meet in person again. As I will be with 6 all the way there." But sorry, Leo says Fiona. I want to be clear.
Ooh, is that a lie though?
No, me as a player stumbled on using the right name, but no, Leo's telling the truth.
No, I mean, like, is calling her Fiona a lie?
No, it's just a different. It's like is using a nickname a lie? I guess that's up to Skern.
I guess Skern has to decide.
You have no issues calling her Fiona. That's fine.
Okay. But anyway, I took the wind out of my own sails. But Leo's promising to, in a way, he's promising to go all the way with 6 to this location.
He will describe where it is, and I drew it on the map.
Reagan.
Do you know if there is a sandstone structure there and if there is a large skeleton?
The area was caved in. The entire place is just a large hole that was cracked and broken, and even when sand blew over it, it did not refill. I could not tell you if there was a structure there. I simply know that it's a large crater.
She nods.
Finally, do any of you know any other ways of preventing planar travel?
I think that your awareness of the issues that touch Eidolons and the Abyss are perhaps more advanced than what we know.
I see. What do you know about how they are created?
Other than some kind of genocide or calamity having to take place, nothing.
Just a large amount of people must have died. It doesn't have to be all at once. The problem is all the souls have to go to the same place, and I have reason to believe that all souls in this plane of existence are not leaving this plane of existence. And instead, they're going to these little pocket dimensions and creating them. I believe this is because we are currently attached to something that's not supposed to be attached to our plane of existence.
Who would be capable of creating something of that nature?
As far as I know, gods.
You mean the 5?
They are not gods.
Leo looks to Permelia to see how she reacts.
He
to-
looks really fucking confused.
Do the people behind him, the row
They're not in
and the
earshot.
others? Oh, they're not. Is that that seems sacrilegious in this area?
Extremely.
General Scarlet doesn't give a shit.
So who are the gods then?
I'm sure there's plenty of them, but if you mean the 5, I don't know what they are, but they're not gods.
Leo looks thoughtful, but is otherwise pulling his mind out of the conversation or making space for somebody else.
What do you think about the swords that Herodine gives to people to make them obey? What is your opinion?
The Oath Keepers?
Yeah.
I believe that they are incredibly useful tools and a way to help reform people who have gone too far. I, however, believe that in the current use, they have been abused to simply make a military that is more of slaves than of free will, and that is not good for any nation.
Six looks confused.
Is Navali just sort of listening at this point? Just curious what her demeanor is.
She's listening. I like to imagine that she maybe has her arms crossed and maybe like her eyes are closed, just kind of like letting everybody speak and ask questions.
What do you think about re-education camps for Rasahari?
At this point, he just stops to stare at you. I believe you care more about my character than you do about the situation. So I'm going to be very blunt with you. I do not care either way. That is between the people and its nation at this point. All I care about is plugging that hole.
Having been thoroughly called the fuck out, she backs off.
So, is this all you want from us to go find, to go to the Rasahari in your stead and report back?
If that is what you are willing to do, that would be very much appreciated. All I needed to know is if you knew of anything that could be causing this to happen, and you gave me information about the Blighted Continent. I appreciate that. Additionally, I needed to know if any of you have heard of or seen the Iron Angel. You have not, but I still need to find them, as they are most likely the only one able to cut, so to speak, the ties of the abyss.
Do you have any other descriptions of the Iron Angel? Things that we should? I don't.
I do not know. I know that they are a woman because all of the text label her as a she, and I know that they are supposed to be clad fully in iron, and that is why they are called the Iron Angel. Therefore, I do not know if they currently exist or someone who is going to exist in our time of need. I do not know if they have ever truly existed or if they are more of a concept of that is who is going to get called when someone saves them. To be quite frank, for all I know, he points a finger at Navali. She could be the Iron Angel. She is wearing much iron and is apparently doing good deeds.
Navali just kind of like sort of gives him a look and then just kind of looks off to the side. Well, I've not gone by that name, so I don't believe I am the woman you were looking for.
I also do not believe you are the woman I am looking for. I'm merely using you as an example.
Mm-hmm. But this Iron Angel is one who you think is going to stop all of this.
According to the prophecy that I spoke of earlier, she has the blade that can sever dimensions, sever the very planes of existence that tied them together. I don't necessarily need her, I need her sword.
Can I roll an insight on that?
Sure. He's hard to read.
Yeah.
Just forgive me. Does that suggest that you are in the prophecy as well?
No.
Or then should the Iron Angel not keep her own sword?
Prophecies do not necessarily mean that they are the ones who solve them, merely that they have keys to solving them.
Sorry if I might have missed it. Did he say the full prophecy?
Technically said it very quickly, and I'm not repeating it.
Gotcha. And is your group over there in search of the Iron Angel, or is it just you?
They follow me because they know that the world is in danger and are willing to help me fix problems. We knew creatures came here, and we came to stop them, for example.
What does a portal to the abyss look like, or what could it look like?
Do you know what the abyss is?
No.
You will know when you see it.
Just curious because I know a couple of us have been more talkative than others. Are Rev and Slostra and Karto sort of doing anything during this time?
Crouch is listening, watching.
Same. Lastra's trying to take it all in, understand everything that's going on.
I was just sort of listening. It looks like he might have something he wants to maybe ask, but he's kind of waiting until everybody else finishes.
You should. You've probably picked up on by now that we are not mercenaries for hire, doing
Oh,
things because.
I assumed, considering that Permelia has not spoken.
But I do feel like asking, and I'm not requesting anything, but we would be going to considerable great lengths to do this task that is in your service. Is there anything you could do to help us? Anything you could provide that would ensure our success?
Or persuasion. If you're asking for payment, I certainly can give you some gold.
Not necessarily.
But if you're asking for equipment, Roe has several items that are still available, and I can ask him to let go of one of them again. I'm certain that he wouldn't mind if I explained the situation.
To be clear, certainly not asking for payment. I just suppose that I want you to recognize that we are doing this because it needs to be done, and your support could be helpful in that regard.
I mean this with all due respect. I don't even know if you're actually going to go there. All I asked for was for information, and you've decided to go there on your own. I hope you are successful and that you learn more. But I can't just give away things unnecessarily on wild whims for people I've met.
Leo's done with questions.
Rev will speak up. So, understandable, perhaps not for the sake of wild whims. You have heard a little of what we can do, our capability, but you also know where we are going. And I understand you to be a very straightforward person, so I'm just going to say I am familiar with some of your magics. And with your comrade's permission, I'd be curious about the demonstration.
He doesn't look towards you, he looks towards Navali.
He looks back.
He actively asked for a demonstration. May I?
All right. Rev, please be careful.
Rev will nod.
Navali is going to back away and watch very carefully.
Tell me, why do you wish to see what I am capable of?
It's not about what you're capable of. I understand that you are powerful. But you know where we're going. And if what you say is true, We will need every edge to assist.
Or persuasion really quick. You are trying to learn my spells. What are you capable of?
At least 2 of your spells.
How?
I believe you are familiar with someone by the name of Linnell.
There is a considerable time where you can see his face actually soften for a moment. So, she's doing fine then.
Rev will nod.
Very well. I warn you. I can show you the spell, but the only way you'll understand is if I strike you once. Are you certain?
I am. If it matters, he'll take the dodge action if I can. I don't know if I can during this.
Sure.
I mean, I guess he needs to hit me either way, so maybe I don't. That's the idea, right?
In theory, you don't know.
Sure, maybe I won't dodge. Here we go.
Instead, I lay down and get crit.
I'll just stand here with my arms out. We'll see what happens. Not really. He will stand there, though.
He's going to reach down and rip the greatsword from the ground. And Rev, I would like you to roll Arcana as you're trying to figure out the exact spell. You're not quite certain, but there's something similar that you've seen. You see a red glow pulse through his body and then into his sword, and it starts to glow very brightly for a second, and then fade into this dull red that seems to menace and even pressure everything around it. And you prepare yourself for the strike. And as you tense up just for a second, it suddenly stabs directly towards you. I think an 18 actually hits you.
Yes, it does.
I am going to require a Constitution saving throw. It's a 27 damage to me. Okay. You take, let's do 52 plus 27, 79 damage. Also, you're poisoned, but you're also unconscious, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Rev is down.
Oh my god.
Navali is already on Rev to heal him. I'm going to put 5 lay on hands to get him up, and then 5 lay on hands to get rid of the poison. Wait, I don't think I can get rid of poison with lay on hands.
It's a condition, yeah, you can.
Okay, I do that.
Navali.
Rev, he stabs directly through you, and in a split second, you are thrown onto the ground with a hole in your chest. Before you can even react, Navali has brought you back up before any vital organs were permanently damaged. Rev, I'd like you to roll me a quick insight. You noticed, as the blade went through your chest, he actually winced for a second. Not from hurting you, but whatever he just did, half of that went to him.
Ah, I see.
I would not suggest learning this unless you can survive the hit.
Understood.
If you see her again, tell her that I am glad she is doing well.
I will.
Now, I am going to ask Ro if there's anything he's willing to part with. It will be in your room before you leave. Thank you for your services and your aid, and I mean this sincerely. Thank you for rushing to help people in danger.
Leo nods, but he's sort of waiting for somebody else to say something.
Six doesn't speak. She has this sort of conflicted kind of expression, and she's avoiding eye contact.
I'm not doing this for your approval. I don't care for it. I'm doing it because it's the right thing.
He does not respond to that. He doesn't seem to care. I suppose I just ask, is there any other further questions before he just walks away?
Doesn't seem that way.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to ask real quick. Okay, there is one last thing. I guess as he's leaving, Navali will speak up. I have one final question. Do you ever intend to go back to my homeland?
I had no intention, but I do not plan around where fate takes me.
And he's still in the zone of truth?
Yes.
Right. Navali doesn't have anything else.
Okay, he leaves. Six, could you do me a favor?
Sure.
Could you open Permelia's sheet and have her roll a wisdom saving throw? She looks broken.
Oh.
Oh, Perm.
Is it very noticeable?
She has that look, dead-eyed look of her entire life just fell apart in front of her in the past 2 minutes. Just because of some of the things he said out loud.
Navali looking over to check on Perm. Okay.
She's just kind of staring off and doesn't seem to respond.
Oh boy.
Perhaps we maybe either go back or stay here for another moment.
Yeah, this lake is really pretty. Why don't we enjoy it now that our meeting's over?
Yes. We haven't got the chance to fully see it. I think that would be nice. Parm, do you want to go sit down with me? We can go sit by the lake.
Right, right.
And Navali will go with Perm to sit down nearby the lake.
You do so. She is staring off for a very long time as if trying to find where her mind went.
If Navali doesn't make it clear that she wants to be alone, Six, also very concerned about Permelia, wants to sit quietly in the vicinity and not start conversation.
Navali would not say no if Six wanted to be closer, though.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna sit down somewhere within maybe 10 or 15 feet.
Perm? Is it alright if I put a hand on your back?
Uh,
Sorry, did she say no?
it was, like she's dazed.
As far as I'm aware of, are we alone besides just the group?
As far as you're aware, yes.
If you're not comfortable with it, I won't. I'd really like to comfort you a little now. If you are okay with it. I don't know if I can roll an insight or not.
Roll persuasion.
Alright.
Side note, Leo's taking his bird out on another patrol just to see.
Quickly roll me a perception with that bird. The bird definitely did notice that as they were leaving, the one that Scarlet keeps referring to as Roe kind of circled around for a moment and seemed to be observing exactly what everyone was doing and seeing if you were leaving immediately. And after a few minutes go by, notices that you weren't and then left.
They didn't necessarily get within.
No, not
Earshot.
within hearing shot.
Okay.
More one of those things of seeing where you were going and when you left, and then realized you didn't leave, and then went, well, that's weird, and left.
Okay.
Navali,
Yeah.
as there is like a pause and you gently touch her, you seem to like shake her awake for just a second, and she immediately burst out into tears. So, if they're not real, if they're not gods, then what was awful? Why did I do anything? Why? What does it all matter?
Oh, no, pardon. Navali has gone from a like hand on her back to wrapping an arm around her and bringing her close.
She's just gonna cry on your shoulder.
Navali absolutely will let her cry on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Perm. I'm sorry. Just take all the time you need. I'm here. It's okay. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to do anything.
As fun as it sounds to fake cry and ramble on for about 10 minutes, I'm going to choose not to do that
Mm-hmm.
and say out loud that's what happened.
Just a brief conversation. Leo maybe saddles up next to Salastra for a moment. This is far enough away that the conversation won't interrupt what they're what Navali and Permelia are doing, but Leo says, "Does Lastra Iron Angel, Thermocool, or you know of anything about? I mean, I just the iron is why I'm asking."
And I roll religion.
You may.
You
It's not Thundercool. Doesn't ring a bell to you.
I've never heard of anything relating to Thermocool in that way. I understand where you're coming from, though.
And should we go down that path? I wonder if we would want to prioritize finding your people for your own purposes, but also for maybe seeing what they know. Not for if it's not a Thermocool thing, but maybe just some connection to be made.
I see. I think it may be worth it to ask, but it seems doubtful that it would be
yeah.
related.
It's a thought, and I don't mean anytime soon.
Okay. I appreciate you thinking about it.
Leo will also wonder to himself something separate of, is it correct that, like, so Linnell is a succubus,
Yep.
and succubuses are fiends. Are fiends from the fiends or demons? They're
Fiends
from
are
the
from
abyss.
the Nine Hells, not the Abyss.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Never mind.
In fact, I'm even happy to say this one out loud. You are aware that calling a fiend a demon would actually probably make them very angry. They're very different species.
Well, I, as a player, always get that fucked up.
I'm aware that everyone does. But demons and devils are literally fighting a blood war at all times. Is there anything else the party would like to do in this pond? Perhaps have a pool party after the lore down?
Pool party! Pool party, Shield of the Outcast! Navali will just basically be around Perm to continue to comfort her.
Same.
I mean, I'm just going to say she's going to be depressed for the entire day. And I don't think it surprises any of you.
No, it does not.
I guess our next big obstacle is Perm's parents. Yeah.
It's true.
Just trauma after trauma today.
You know what will cheer her up?
Talking to her parents.
Coming out to her parents.
Yeah.
Yay.
So anyway, with that said, when you get back to the inn, you will find a letter giving an invite to her parents, directly saying that when to come and where, which would be the next night in the morning, or not next night, tomorrow morning. Additionally, Delivered to your room is the love potion.
I don't know how comfortable I am with that information.
Character's like, is this a joke?
Diderot,
On the love
this would be
potion,
useful.
it has a note saying he didn't want it.
We have cast-offs, I see.
Well, perhaps such a thing could be sold.
Well, knowing that in the morning you're going to have to deal with the next trauma, and no longer having to plan for fighting Scarlet or talking to Scarlet, your party begins to relax and mostly spends, about half of them spend a lot of time trying to cheer up Permelia. Hope everyone enjoyed playing and watching. 6, go ahead and end it.
Thanks for coming.